Oh, actually, if I go into the other account, do you want me to look at chat?
And with that splendid intro,
I haven't pressed record.
Dan, hit record.
Recording in progress.
Right, I've hit record.
And so anyway, and then I told him, just stop grabbing me from behind. No, and lads, sorry, how we doing? Welcome to Xbox Tavern's X-Pod Tavern episode 44. I am Jamie, and I'm once again joined by Daniel.
Hello.
Ross.
What the fuck?
Timing on that
Oh,
was
what was that?
unbelievable.
That was perfect. Daniel gets his own little intro.
Do-do-do-do.
We've joined by Scottish Gruff Ross
Hello.
and Graham.
Hello.
Hello, Ian's out this week. He is off gallivanting around town
Popping it up.
with his family. So hi, Ian. And yes, we're here to talk some video games. Are you all well, gentlemen? You had a nice weekend so far?
Fantastic so far, yeah.
Great.
Good. Solid. Everyone sounds enthused. Let's do this. So, quick little bit of housekeeping out of the way, real sharp. Obviously, we're live right now on YouTube at youtube.com/Xbox Tavern. Oh my god, Xbox Tavern Official, where you can see various videos and reviews and gameplay clips, as well as this here podcast, which we record, as I said, every Sunday at 8 p.m, more or less. It also goes up on podcast services around the world. Just search Xbox Tavern, and hopefully it will come up somewhere on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get them. And you can also find our Patreon at patreon.com/Xbox Tavern. Anything you can chuck towards us would be massively appreciated, and it would help feed Daniel another day.
Because I need that help.
And the final one is you can find all of our written stuff, reviews, features, interviews, etc., at xboxtavern.com, which is a lovely website that you should definitely go and click on. Thank you very much. All right, I believe we've got a little segment to throw to now, Daniel.
Oh, yeah. So we have got a promotion running with Online Warriors. So they're a podcast. We've got a little speak from them from Nerd Bomber. So take it away, Ross, and play it.
Hey everybody, this is Nerd Bomber here, one of the co-hosts of the Online Warriors podcast. Our weekly podcast started as a way for three friends to keep in touch and discuss their passion for movies, gaming, technology, and entertainment. And since then, we've grown into a fantastic online community. Every Wednesday, we release a new episode discussing the latest nerdy news, and then we go hands-on with our weekly adventures and a fun trivia show. Sound interesting? Check us out on every podcast platform, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts, or hit us up at onlinewarriorspodcast.com.
Just gives a thumbs up when we're ready. All right, thank you very much, Nerd Bomber. So go and check out Online Warriors podcast. Again, you can find it on podcast services around the world. Daniel, do they have a YouTube channel at all, or is it just podcast services?
I believe it's just the podcast service. So yeah, go check them out. Nice guys, girl and guys over in the States.
It's more of a podcast that encompasses gaming, movies, music, etc., I believe, isn't it? Rather than just gaming solely.
Yeah. So as they like to put it, it's all your nerdy tendencies all in one show. So good fun.
Go give them a listen and let them know that we sent you. All right. So now we've all that out of the way, shall we get some video game chat going, good gentlemen?
Sounds
Video
good.
Games. So there was some sort of event called Gamescom on recently, which is usually in Germany, but this time was all digital, I believe, thanks to that wonderful pandemic.
The Rona.
Yes. So Xbox kicked things off on the Tuesday, was it? With a stream, which, I mean, Ross, we did a live sort of reaction to it. I don't know if you... Well,
Don't make me relive it.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you do feel how I feel. But it was probably one of the most boring things I've ever watched.
Yeah, I think one of the big issues with it is they obviously had the success what they had with E3 show, and it was just like game, 15 seconds discussion about said game. This was 30 seconds little game of probably not even big games that most people would be that interested or focused on, but would be quite happy to like watch something about it. So you get a small wee bit of it, and then 10-15 minutes of two people discussing it. And then another little bit of a game, 10-15 minutes of people discussing it. I was like, I don't need this. All I need is to see what's coming up. And if it's a AAA game, going a bit of depth there. So like Dying Light, when they were talking about that, happy to have tons of more information on that. But for Sea of Thieves getting a Borderlands ship theme type idea, I don't need somebody sitting down and discussing that for me. I just need to know I can put a claptrap on the front of my ship and I can have a Volt symbol on my sail. Next.
As you said, there was just a lot of padding, wasn't there? Really, like
Yeah, it was too much
The
filler.
one that sticks out for me, what was it? The Wasteland 3 DLC.
Yeah, like
Is a nice trailer. It was like, oh, it looks all right, and then they sat down for about 10 minutes and just discussed it in detail. I was like,
but you're discussing just a DLC. You're not discussing a full game. It's a DLC. It's 5 minutes tops.
yeah, and I'm sure, as we said on the stream, I'm sure there's someone out there interested because obviously it's not our cup of tea, but I struggled to see why they went on about each individual one so long when they could have, like you said, game, maybe stop for a minute and discuss something like Dying Light, then game. Because the indie showcase, the Humble Bundle, there are 10 awesome looking games in there. They got about 20 seconds each. I would have happily seen another
exactly.
another minute or so trailer for each one.
Stretch them out to a minute, like a minute
Yeah.
each, and then just show it like that. Don't have to then sit down and discuss everything. But I'd have much rather seen a wee bit more of some of those games than needlessly discussing other games.
Yeah. What about yourself, Daniel or Graham? Did you actually get to watch it?
I'll let Graham go first.
No, I didn't get too much to experience it. It's like I dodged a bullet on that one.
Yep.
What about yourself, then, Dan? You were in the chat for a little while.
Yeah, so I was in the chat for a little bit and then going on and off, watching the stream. I, like you guys, it wasn't the most captivating showcase. I feel like, I mean, the only thing, there were two, I think, key things that jumped out, maybe three. Obviously, more information about Dying Light, because that all of a sudden went quiet, didn't it? For
but that was quiet
6
for
months.
a long time. And then starting
a lot of
this
issues
year,
with it.
they've ramped up, obviously, what they're telling people about it. I think end of the year, obviously, when it's dropping.
Yeah. So there was that. There was which I think is probably the biggest news ever, cloud gaming now on your Series X console. So no longer do you need to, it's in testing at the moment, isn't it? So at some point you won't be able to, you don't have to download a game to play a game on your console, which is absolutely unbelievable. And then maybe the Forza Horizon 5 stuff was maybe kind of the top bits. The rest of it was all fluff and faff, I felt.
I mean, the Forza stuff was, thing is, with Forza stuff, they were only really showing expanded versions of what we had already seen. So we knew that there was like the big sandstorms. We knew that there was different biomes. You obviously know there's got to be loads of different style of cars. So you got to see everything expanded a wee bit more. So it didn't really introduce anything new. It just gave you, it just whetted your appetite a bit more.
Yeah.
And again, it went on for far too long, in my opinion.
Well, I think they dropped a massive bollock by not showing Halo.
Yeah.
Regardless, or announcing Halo and when it was coming out. I think you should have done that on your show, your stage.
I think I saw something somewhere. It might have been on Jez Corn or something saying basically the theory behind it is that the Gamescom opening night live itself was going to get a much bigger audience than just Microsoft's Xbox show.
Yeah.
Which is why they saved the date for that, which kind of makes sense.
Makes sense as a business to.
Yeah, but it still seems like you've got check out our Xbox show. Halo? What? Sorry, here's a pre-rendered cinematic of the multiplayer. We're not going to show you any actual gameplay, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think I feel that they didn't focus on the right stuff for that showcase.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a bit of a letdown. Like I said, quite excited about Dying Light 2, more information, and it's finally coming out. The obviously the cloud stuff on your console, which I think it went really underrated because I think they only showed, was it 2 minutes or 3 minutes worth of stuff? It was kind of really quick, done and dusted, and that was it.
Yeah, one of the few things that they got over and done with quickly.
Yeah, which I think they should have delved in more about it because it is such a big,
yeah.
it's
So
a
let's
massive
talk,
thing.
Let's talk about that for very quickly then. So great. I don't know if you caught up with any of the news or not, but it's cloud streaming like you can on your phone or your tablet or your computer.
Yeah, no, I did see
but
that bit. Sorry,
on your Xbox Series X or even on your Xbox One, so you can now, in theory, play Xbox Series X exclusive Game Pass games on your Xbox One just via cloud streaming, and it will just work. So when you go into the Game Pass library, you'll have the option to install it like usual, or right next to it will be the option just to play, and so you just press that button and away you go. So what do you think? Because you've been a bit of a cloud gaming sort of, not fanatic as it were. What's the right word? You've been one of the more positive people about it, I think, on this show.
Yeah, well, I was interested in the streaming side of things, so to sort of free up the TV at times. And I was interested in cloud gaming when it was working absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, when this was back before everything all went pear-shaped, because I was trying to play it whilst at work, like at a lunch break or something, or you can't play anything on a train because there's just no Wi-Fi connection. But yeah, so to this kind of scenario is more not mainly for the sort of the cloud base. I guess it frees up space on people's hard drives.
Exactly.
So that some of those mammoth games just sort of take that massive chunk of like 100 gig kind of game or something like that, and then put that on the cloud, so you don't have to sort of have that taking up space. Yeah,
that's sorry, go on.
But I was saying, but only if it kind of works. Everyone's had that moment where it's you see a little bit of time delay, or you see a little bit of lag around that bit, or some bits are a little bit unplayable,
or the video starts freezing and juttering.
But you think this is kind of direct source stuff. This is Xbox to Xbox. You'd hope it was immaculate, but yeah, time will tell.
Yeah, as you said, as we said, I think the other day as well, it's kind of perfect for trying something. So if there's a multiplayer game we want to try, we can just jump straight in. We haven't got, I haven't got it downloaded. I haven't got this, that, or the other. And this also would be good for stuff like putting demos on there as well. So like when they have the demo showcase, obviously there's like 40, 50 games at a time. Instead of downloading all them demos, now you could in theory anyway, just stream them and just play them that way, which would be a lot easier just to jump in and out of stuff, because as we've seen before, the cloud game, it loads up pretty damn quick.
I think one of the other things we were saying which was going to be a big positive, certainly for like our podcast, is Project Game Pass. So games that there's no sort of worry about forgetting to install them and shit like that. It's just going to be jump on, play from the cloud, and just drop it in ready to go whenever you want. Plus, I think it's also going to be beneficial for like discoverability of games. So I know I keep harping back to it, but it's going to be my top 5 for games of the year. Killer Queen Black would never have looked at it. Would had it not been our Project Game Pass, I wouldn't have wanted to waste space on my hard drive, as tiny as it is. But it's one of the type of games where you might see a trailer for something, you might think it looks pretty cool, you jump onto the cloud, you play 5-10 minutes of it, see if you like it. It's not for you. You see another one, you jump back at that, might be something that is for you, and all of that without having to worry about if your internet speed's like terrible, then it's not going to be the best experience, I suppose. But at least if you're out and about and you've got the cloud gaming, you can take it with you. You've got the cloud for the console. You're going to be able to find a lot more games that you probably never have looked at because you didn't want to waste space on your hard drive. Exactly.
It's just, can you? Game Pass is just one of them things. If we had it when we were kids, can you imagine how rich our life would have been?
Yeah, like you'd been spoiled for choice.
Yeah, then you could just literally just press a button, just try it. And again, streaming is never going to be as good as sort of native, but it's good to try stuff. And you think, actually, I might spend the time or the hard drive space to download this.
I was going to say, possibly this is a console seller in terms of, okay, I don't need to get the big, huge Series X. I can get my S. Yes, there's not a much hard drive space on my S, so I can keep my free-to-play games and still have, the benefit of all the Game Pass games that I can play there and then. And then when you do want to bite the bullet, download, you can dabble in Halo now not now, but when it comes out, try it. And if you like it, then you can download it. I think this is such an underrated feature they've brought out. I think it's going to blow people's mind.
Yeah,
only if it works.
This is the thing. I mean,
only if it's flawless will it be sort of immaculate.
I mean, I'm quite lucky where I am. I've got pretty fast internet, so even the bigger games I can download pretty quickly. But as I said the other week when I was down in Devon, it took absolutely ages to download anything because the broadband is not the best.
And that's
whereas if I could stream this, if it worked on that sort of Wi-Fi, I could have just been playing rather than sitting there watching the download counter slowly creep up.
But how does it work on a shite connection?
This is the thing. I'd be interested to test it in the hotels, obviously where I stay away for work and that, because trying to download anything on that Wi-Fi is horrendous. I think they must put some sort of block on it, but streaming videos and stuff is fine. So I'll be interested to see how this would affect things.
I'm sure they said with the cloud you must have they gave minimums
Yeah, it was a minimum. Was it not like 10 meg or something?
or something.
like
Yeah,
that,
It was
It
something
was
like
pretty
that.
low, but it's still
Yeah, I mean that's
higher
like
than a lot of people
4G. You can get that easily. So if you can get 4G, you can usually pretty much play that. I've not had any really bad experiences within my area. I mean, my Wi-Fi's pretty good. It's not fantastic, but it's not rubbish in any way, shape, or form. But what I did notice is when I was through in Edinburgh and like playing it through 5G, and it's just like so much nicer playing it on like a 5G system. It's like wow. Obviously there's still input delay because that's never going to not be there, but there was no like juttering on the screen or nothing like that. Everything just ran so smooth. It wasn't a particularly taxing game. It was is it Last Stop, I think the name it is.
yeah.
So it wasn't a taxing game in any way, shape or form, but it was just such a nice experience to play it on 5G. So rolling that out across Scotland will be very nice. Thanks.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, as you said, Dan, it's not only is it a console seller, but it's kind of just a subscription seller as well, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
you can have this, this subscription. You can do it on your phone, you can do it on your computer, or if you do have an old Xbox, now you can do it on there as well, and you haven't got to worry about trying to, scalp a $700 Xbox One, Xbox Series X or something stupid like that.
Oh, totally. I was trying to think there was something else I was going to mention about it, and I've just completely. I think it's like you're saying that subscription seller. I think it's going to be a little bit like the backwards compatibility for games. Like, what do they call it? It eludes me now.
What's this?
Where your save data just transfer. If you buy a copy, your Series X copy, it's going to work.
Smart delivery.
Yeah, it's going to be like a smart delivery thing where people aren't overly.
No, yeah.
This is rubbish, and then all of a sudden, as the months progress, they're like, "Holy shit! Actually, this is fantastic."
The smart delivery is not about the save. The smart delivery is about the best version for the console you've got. Yeah. But I totally agree. Everybody thought, smart delivery, it's just buzzwords that Microsoft are firing out, and they tried to install games on the PS5 and went, why have I got the PS4 version? Why have I got 500 gigs? Why have I got 500 gigs for this game? And realised it's downloaded all the PS4 data and all the PS5 data. Yeah, you're exactly right. It's going to be something from nothing that people are going to look
in terms
over.
of the save, though, you are right onto something there, because obviously now you can transfer it between consoles and even transfer it between PC and Xbox.
Yeah.
So and also cloud. So if you do play it on the cloud and you think that's pretty good actually, and then you end up buying an Xbox, you can just pick up where you left off. You haven't got to start over again.
Oh yeah, I mean it's so.
And
cool.
it's a piece of piss. You literally just load it up and it goes, "Oh, you've played this before. Here, have your save data."
Yeah.
And then
unless you
go,
do a 360 game, then it does that thing.
There's
the bar.
It's a little bit slower then, but even then, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But speaking of buying new consoles and all that goodness, well, first, I just want to give a shout out to that Forza Horizon 5 controller. It's that's pretty colourful, isn't
it? To mimic, as you say, the Wolf of Wall Street, was it? It's like because that thing was so good looking.
I'm not a big Forza fan, obviously, as you know, but that controller almost had me. If there wasn't something else that come out shortly after,
it was the thing is you were like,
tempted.
I'm not Forza. I'm not too interested in it. And you're like, it's got different color triggers. I must have it.
Yeah. I could imagine him seeing all those colours absolutely burnt his brain.
Yeah, and then he realised it was translucent, and he was like, I need it.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. So that color, the controller looks as if they've like just thrown paint. Color run is what I'm thinking of. You know where people
just run through. People are throwing paint balloons at you with powder and that in it.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what it looks like.
But yeah, very colourful. Very lots of colours.
I mean, if it hadn't been for the fact that it was a pink base, and if it maybe like the blue base with like pink accents, I'd have probably been closer to buying it. But it's a really nice controller. The translucent, I'd have preferred maybe like a metallic, but it's still a really, really good looking controller. I think that's one thing that, as much as sort of you've got like this, like as much as that's a great controller with all its wee bells and whistles in it, I think for this iteration since the Series X was launched, Microsoft have done a great job at their controllers bringing them out. They're not adding any new features to them, but just the actual style of them, absolutely stunning. I mean, your Volt, and what's that new one? Is it Aqua something? I can't remember exactly the name of it.
Yeah, I can't think. It's Aqua something or other.
But
But
it's,
yeah,
they've done a great job with our accessories for this generation so far.
they have indeed. Do you think we've wrapped up Gamescom really in a nice little?
Pretty much. There's not much
Bow.
else to say about it, I don't think.
All right, Jay's just nipped out, so perfect time to quickly run through
Yeah,
the
Halo,
full three.
quick.
Yeah, let's get through. As we mentioned, Halo was not on the Xbox conference. However, the next day, 2 days, it launched. Oh, typical. He's just come back in time.
Is he? No, he's
Sorry.
not. He's not back.
Sorry.
Quick, hurry, before he's back on screen.
Urgent business. What did I miss? Sorry.
You can go into the Halo stuff.
Oh, Halo.
Yeah,
Like a bit of Halo.
I know. We were trying to get through it quickly, but unfortunately, you just turned up. I literally said, obviously, Halo went on the one night only following day.
Yeah, so we'll get through it quickly because there wasn't really very much to discuss, really, was there?
So what's the
obviously
date?
they revealed the release date, which is December 8th.
Booyah!
It's a little bit later than I was expecting. I was thinking November time, but December 8th, at least we've got a solid date now. We haven't got to wait for, it's coming this holiday. I promise.
When's the next, when's obviously a Call of Duty and Battlefield drop?
I think they've got dates yet.
Battlefield's October, isn't it? Back end of October.
So you can see why November would probably have been a wee bit like...
Yeah, but because it's the 20th anniversary, and I think the first one came out on the 15th of November, was it? Or the 21st, something like that. So I thought they might have, Alton being abducted again.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jay's getting kidnapped.
What's coming out on the December the 8th? Is it just like the tutorial and the options menu? Or is there...
No, it was
Just a title
it was the extras and the credits that were coming up in that part.
Yeah, the final scene.
Yeah.
And the credit, and a brief teaser for the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
They're releasing the campaign and the multiplayer,
Good
which is
teaser.
going to be free to play on the 8th.
Oh, that's badass.
What was that?
That
looked
was
away
Master Chief in pop form.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really a big pop kind of guy, but that's pretty cool.
So as of next week, we won't have Jay on the show. So yes, how's everybody going with it?
So release date December 8th. Very excited, looking forward to that already. Obviously, Game Pass, multiplayer, free to play, etc., etc. So we shall be doing that for Project Game Pass December. No exceptions. Thank you very much, everybody. Cheers, bye bye. And they also revealed a really rather lovely looking limited edition console. So the first the limited edition series console we've got. I don't know if I know you're not really much into it, Gray, but does it strike anyone else's fancy, this sexy bad boy?
If I didn't think it was going to result in an impending divorce, then yes. But unfortunately, I think it would. So no.
Yeah, likewise.
I have seen the sarcasm on the internet and a few other podcasts I listen to, saying that how can you can't buy a Series X. However, they've launched the special edition Series X.
I must admit that was a thought that went through my head. It's like, how are you going to do a special one when you can't even get the default one? But I suppose they're going to have a specific allocation, which is already sold out as far as I'm aware.
That would surprise me.
Doesn't surprise me. Scalpers have already got 90 of them sitting in their back garden.
I did look when it was very first revealed. It sort of come up on the website straight away. I did look and I did press that. Check out available retailers now, and then no.
Yeah,
no.
come to an eBay near you.
Yeah, but it looks very nice. It's obviously got its own custom controller. It's sort of grey and space themed, and it looks very pretty. But they also revealed a rather lovely looking Elite Series 2 controller, which has been pre-ordered. Thank you, Daniel. I was umming and ahhing.
I tagged you, and that was it.
Yeah, as I said, I had it in my basket a couple of times, and I was like,
properly twisted his arm on that one.
Yeah.
It's like, gee, look at this, bye.
Yeah, I've still got a month or so to cancel it, but we'll see. I might forget to. So this is, as Graham said, 180 quid for a Series. Oh my god, Elite Series 2 controller, which has got a Master Chief sort of. What's the right word? Aesthetic to it, yeah. So it's got his sort of worn down armor, and it's got the grey and the green and the gold and stuff. And it looks very pretty. And obviously the Elite Series 2 is probably the best controller out there. So finally, as I think Ross, you said last week about, all we want is a custom series Elite controller.
I feel like that's taking the shortcut, though. That's not really given. It's custom to an extent, but not quite how we'd like it, but it's a
It's
step
not
in the
a
right
design
direction.
lab. Yeah. I think it looks really nice. As I said, I've ordered one. Whether I'll keep it or not, I don't know because it is very expensive. But
So to go
I have
alongside your
ordered one.
Forza one, yeah.
That's already gone as well, I think, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
already sold out.
It's gone.
Didn't even get a
Blimey.
chance to look in on that one. But I'm happy with my orange one at the moment. And I've just built a shelf for all my controllers, and I haven't got enough room for another one. So we'll see. I might have to make a bigger shelf. We'll see. So I'm guessing from all your responses so far, no one else is picking one up.
I would love to, but £180 is steep for a controller.
Especially to sit there and not be used.
Yeah, it is steep. But again, it's already flying off the shelves. So if you want one, I suggest you look it up real quick because otherwise you're going to be looking to those eBay scalpers and probably paying at least double the price, which is a bit of a shit show. So, other than those lovely Halo announcements, they did a few other sort of vaguely interesting things. We'll talk about the Humble Bundle one real quick. So that was, as we said, that was one of the more interesting things. I don't know if any of you guys remember the names of the games. Did anybody have anything that stood out to them?
Only that Midnight Fight something
Fight
or other.
Express.
Express, that was it,
Yeah.
yeah.
That looks
That's the
pretty
only one I
interesting.
looked.
So like
I
an
liked.
isometric one where you're sort of racing on a bike and beating the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
There was one called Bushidan, which kind of looked like old school Shinobi, which instantly caught my attention.
Yes, I did see that. I did get Shinobi vibes from that.
Yeah. There was.
And I liked
what's
that,
it
but
called?
then I feel like I was putting my TV or my monitors at risk by playing it. So
There was one called Signalis, which looked to be like a 2D space-based horror game. It had some real creepy visuals and settings going on. It looked pretty interesting. And then there was a few other ones which looked really good. There's one out that's out already, which is Dodgeball Academia. I haven't played it yet, but it's been out for a couple of weeks. And then the other main one, I think was, what was it called? Sorry, I can't see what it is. Unsighted, I think it was, which looked pretty interesting as well. But all 10 of them look, as we said earlier on, they look really good, and they kind of just like, here's the trade buy, right, get on to the next stuff. Which was a bit of a shame. And there was other bits and pieces, some State of Decay DLC stuff on the Gunk is finally coming out in December. And yeah, bits and pieces. Did anything else that they showed over those 2 days stand out to anyone?
the Dying Light stuff, that was really the only thing that jumped out at me and caught my eye.
What was the date on that? I can't remember.
That's tail end of the year as well. Is that not?
I want to say October.
No,
I
it's
might be
later, I'm
wrong.
sure.
No, it was December, I believe.
December,
but
was
I
it
can't
December
remember
9th
the date.
again? Was that the 9th as well? I'll look it up. Give me
Dying
two.
Light
Yeah,
2, 7th of December.
Oh, 7. So it's going to come after all these years. It's going to come the day before Halo Infinite.
And no, the thing is, and this is, I'll be perfectly honest, I won't play Halo until I've finished Dying Light. So, Dying Light that'll be my main game for a considerable while. The first one was outstanding. It's a brilliant co-op game. It looks like they've obviously built it even bigger now. They've added in, I think I was saying to you and Ian on the night we were recording, Jay, that the whole thing about different factions is very Fallout-esque. So you'll have different groups that you can bounce between to try and like give resources to, and then I think it'll eventually get to a point where you'll have to pick which faction it is you decide to side with.
Yeah.
So obviously very, very similar to like Fallout, and what's the other one? Its name's totally eluded me. Skyrim, obviously with the Imperials and the Stormcloaks and things like that. So no, if it's even a third of the game that the first one is, it'll be a great game to run through co-op. Plus, I think it looks fantastic.
Yeah, I said to you, I didn't really. Well, I don't think I've ever played the first Dying Light, but obviously it's very popular. But this did look really good, especially that bit where they jumped out the window.
Yeah, they were adding
like the grapple
hook
and swung back
yep.
in.
So I think they were adding. They've obviously added like that as a transversal type thing that you can throw these out and go across the map. But I think they've added quite a lot of like the wall running and things like that. It was very. I think we were saying it was very sort of Mirror's Edge meets The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it does look very.
It was already a very nice game to control your character. The running, the free running, things like that were always a great part of Dying Light 2, and if they've started adding like the wall running and the sort of grapple hooks to get in through buildings and stuff like that, it'll be it's might be coming a bit late in the year for a Game of the Year contender, but it's
You never know. Have a few
definitely
weeks.
going to be good.
Well, I don't think they'll be Halo and Dying Light. They won't be in the Game of the Year because
No,
I'm sure the
I meant for
cut-off's
for us
December.
one, like if for
Oh, for our one,
for
yeah,
us, yeah.
but
Oh yeah, for the Game Awards one. I think the cutoff
Yeah.
is something like the
Yeah.
end of August.
So
was it end of, no, I thought it was the
It's
end.
really early compared to when they show the show. When they have the show, I should say.
Oh.
But yeah, great. Have you any interest in Dying Light at all?
I can't say I've played the first one or seen too much about even the second Dying Light. I am interested in sort of playing Halo. That I'm interested in, but yeah, if Dying Light is as interesting as you say it is, yeah, it's definitely could be worth checking out.
I really would like to try the first one. It's not in Game Pass at all, is it? But I'm sure I can find it on sale at some point.
Yeah, I'd
Fairly
recommend
cheap.
like if you can pick it up. Usually the bundles there, so you'll get like it's the space. I can't remember, second edition, and it gives you the 2 sets of DLC that comes with it as well. The second DLC introduces vehicles, and you can customize your vehicle and add like spikes and stuff like that on it, so you can mow through like the big hordes of zombies.
Yeah.
It's definitely a game I recommend playing through, and if you can play it co-op as well.
Yeah, see, that's what intrigues me more because I do like zombie games and sort of first-person games and stuff. But
It adds a
adds some
challenge
combat.
element to it as well. So like you can go to certain areas and it's like obviously because of the way the game's set, there's no set path to how you do things. So it's like one of the things is like if it's a flag at the top of a tower, it's you get there with your co-op partner and it's race to the top of the tower to get the flag. So obviously there's no set way of doing it. It's just who finds the fastest way up.
Yeah.
So it adds in nice like little competitive things for when you're playing co-op. It's not just killing zombies and doing missions.
Yeah, nice. Well, maybe one day we'll pick it up. We'll play. Is it 4-player or just 2-player co-op?
I think it's. Oh, I don't know. I've only ever done it 2-player co-op, but I'm not too sure if there's more.
Because this is coming off the back of, was it Dead Island? Was it the same people who did that who had 4-player running through
Is it
co-op?
not? I don't think it's the same as Dead Island. I could be wrong.
Is it not? I thought. Yeah, it looks interesting. I'm pretty sure former Tavern member Anthony was a big fan of Dying Light. I seem to remember him waffling on about it for ages whenever I spoke to him about it. But yeah, cool. So Dying Light coming this December, just a day before Halo. I'm pretty sure I know which one I'll be playing, but you never know. Stranger things have happened. All right, so the only other sort of real big bit of news that come out of this week, in terms of Xbox stuff at least, was they are rebooting Saints Row. So after Saints Row 4, which I haven't played, but I believe went absolute batshit crazy, where you're basically master of the universe, or some sort of space spanning thing, they're now going back to basics and they're rebooting it, and it's just called Saints Row. It's coming in February, and it is about a group of 4 people trying to set up their own crime gang in a town in, I think it's Southern America, called
Stillwater.
I just had it here. It's called, oh, for God's sake, it was just here a second ago. I've lost it now. Oh, I'll find it in a minute. But yeah, so it's sort of set in the desert. It's got obviously wide open vistas and the massive city and lots of very pretty colours and effects and things. I've never really been a big fan of Saints Row. I never really liked the way it felt or way it played. But this one has definitely piqued my interest. Gray, you're a bit of a Saints Row fanboy, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, not fanboy necessarily, but yeah, I know you like to play them. What do you think of this?
Yeah, no, I'm all over this. Well interested in a sort of a Saints Row revamp. I've sort of played all 3 of them. So yeah, looking at all of those, they're all decent. And yeah, I can't believe you've got the time we sort of co-opted online, so we had our massive dildo fight.
I was just about to say I cannot wait to drop back in and get the sort of kind of trying to remember what it's called in the remastered one that was just, what is it, the Devastator or something it's called? The baseball bat with a big purple dildo shoved on the top of it.
Yeah, that's when we had a fight with him.
Yeah, I have played them, but that was about it.
Yeah, one of them did go mad in space. You went into a virtual reality world, but that just kind of, it added a different dynamic to it. It just went. I mean, the story's always been absolutely mental.
Oh yeah, it's just been crazy.
Super far-fetched. So it didn't matter too much to it. It knew it was sort of not taking itself too seriously, but the mini games in there was just always fun for me. I love playing through those ones. They were, yeah, it's good fun to play.
It's like find the collectibles, and it's just big stacks of sex dolls that you need to find throughout the map. It's like they know exactly what they're aiming to try and achieve. It's not anything fancy or cool. It's just we're going to be as outrageous as we possibly can.
They did well by it was in the time, I can't remember which GTA cycle it was, but because there was such a long gap between Grand Theft Autos, they managed to just grab that market who were desperate for a Grand Theft Auto. And I mean, essentially you got the knockoff version, didn't you? Because bits were, it felt funny. It wasn't quite as fine-tuned as GTA was.
Yeah, it was one of the first sort of big pretenders, which, I mean, I bought the first game on the 360 and I hated it because it just felt off, like you say, Dan. It just didn't feel as tight as GTA. And the only thing I enjoyed doing was, I forget what it was called, but it was like insurance claim or something.
Yeah.
And you just had to jump in the road and break
Jump in front of that was awesome.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. But then once that was done, I was like, well, I'm kind of bored of this now. And then that was it. I never really bothered going back seriously after that. Have you had much experience with it, Dan?
I played a little bit. I think I played 1 and maybe 2, but after that I was done just because it felt a bit weird. It didn't
that
feel
was when
right.
it started to go real out there, wasn't it? Because the first two were kind of really trying to be a bit more serious, like, oh, we're really hardcore and gangster. And then they went, oh, actually, we're superheroes and magic powers and aliens.
And the president.
And Keith David as president.
It was very strange. Very strange.
Yeah,
But,
so we're looking forward to this, everybody.
I'm actually in the process on that console that we won't talk about. I'm playing through the third one, the remastered version of it.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I've always been a fan of Saints Row games. Co-op wise, it's just sheer comedy. So, if you're ever looking for a laid back co-op game that you're going to have tons of fun with, is definitely that.
I don't know if they've said anything about co-op or anything for this, have they?
You would like to imagine it was going to be.
It's got to be. And I mean, there's 4 main characters, so I'm hoping that translate into 4-player co-op.
You'd think so, and it would say like that game in 4-player co-op is going to be just chaos, absolute chaos. Yeah, because
as I said, they're rebooting this. It's gone back to a bit more gangster grittiness, but it's still seems like it's got quite a lot of the humour they've worked on over the last couple of games as well. So.
Like you say, the first ones were great because you were this small sort of street gang, and then you were like you moved into like you were trying to take over the drug market, the sex market, and it was like you were trying to grow your rep, and it was kind of GTA San Andreas type idea. Like you were trying to the Grove Street used to be big, and then the Ballers came in, and I can't remember what the Hispanic one was, but. So you had the sort of gang elements to it, and it was very similar to San Andreas. And then, like you say, it started to go just a little bit OTT with the sort of aliens and the president and the sort of super-powered army that they had to take on.
Going to hell and everything else.
Yeah, but it maintained the comedy aspect, so it got away with it.
Yeah, I think that's what it needed because it couldn't compete with GTA on a toe-to-toe kind of level. But so we're looking forward to that. February 22nd, I think it was. Next year. It's across generations as well, so it's Xbox One and Xbox Series. So hopefully that won't hold it back anything, but we'll see. And you can cloud stream it. Why the hell not, eh? Okay, I think that's about it for the news this week then. It was a bit of a quiet Gamescom, really. I'm sure there were plenty of other multi-format and stuff news, but I didn't really see a great deal of anything else. Anybody else got anything else they want to bring up before we move on to the next segments?
No.
It's all good.
30-day video game challenge, and it is 30-day, 30-week, 30-month, 30-year video game challenge. And we are on day/week 26, which is the best voice acting in a game. So, Daniel, what have you picked? And tell us about it.
I picked Gears of War. I think Marcus Phoenix.
You're going to be having a heart attack right by now.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, he probably would. What? Oh my god! Well, no, it's here. Marcus Phoenix, the gritty graveliness of his voice, the lines, the script. I think the guy, I don't know who plays Marcus Phoenix, but
John DiMaggio.
John.
How do you not know who that is?
Take note. I don't. just like that. Yeah. So,
Outrageous.
really good. He's probably the best one, or the best voice for me.
Yeah, his voice for Marcus is awesome. Just that real real grab. Like I was going to try and do it then, but I can't. I'm fucking nowhere near. But really good.
Yeah, the grittiness and the graveliness of it, I think, is really good.
Yeah, I think Graham would agree that Dom is probably the best character in all games ever.
No, I just realised you said John DiMaggio. I was like, hang on, that was the voice of Walker in Final Fantasy X.
That's right. And more famously, perhaps Bender and
Bender.
Yeah, I was going to say Bender's
the
the one
guy
that I would
from-
automatically.
I don't know what the character's name, the dog thing in Adventure Time.
Jake.
Jake. Yes. Gears of War. Then. Good. Nice. So, do you have a favorite Gears of War, like story or acting preference, or?
I think my favorite Gears of War is probably the first one, to be fair, where the story kind of unfolds and starts. I think that for me, I've just got not love affair is the wrong word, but that was the one that introduced me quite heavily into co-op gaming across the internet with my mate. Me and my mate Lee went through and completed Gears stupidly on insanity mode or whatever it was.
Damn right.
Or trying to do it, and just
Damn
I think that I enjoyed the story, and then that kind of connection. That's what I've got from it. I mean, there's probably better stories in the Gears.
Yeah.
In the
I
Gears
don't know,
franchise.
the first one's good. They're all.
First
I
one's
enjoyed
fantastic.
them all. I mean, the second one's probably the best with Dom's wife and.
Oh,
all that.
tearjerker.
But yeah, no, it's good. All right, Gears of War. Gears of War is a good choice. When you put down GOW, I thought you meant God of War, and I was like,
In fairness,
that's a good shout too. That's a good shout too.
Boy. Yeah, no, I haven't
Graves
played
lost his
the other
what
one.
you fucking cancel. All right, Graves, since you didn't know anything about God of War, what was your pick?
I picked GTA Vice City. We had when you're talking about gangster games, and then you bring Ray Liotta as the lead voice actor for it. It was going to be gold.
I mean, I think unless you're the only other person you could have sort of brought in that would have been more synonymous is like if you'd have rocked in Al Pacino or De Niro or something like that. Somebody who just sit there. Unless he was kicking in the front door saying, "Say hello to my little friend." It wasn't really going to do much better than Ray Liotta.
But I mean, him or Joe Pesci for those kind of gangster. Just for that, is it Casino?
Casino, brilliant film.
Casino's De Niro.
Yeah.
It's the.
Are you talking about the film they're in?
What's the other gangster film?
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas, that's it.
Goodfellas. Am I funny to you?
Yeah.
Like funny, funny like a clown, ha.
And he's
That was Pesci's part.
him.
That's what I mean, because he was so intense. He made like Ray Liotta's character squirm, which was quite cool.
Exactly.
Did you just enjoy it because of him as Tommy Vercetti, or did you enjoy the wide range of over-the-top characters as usual in GTA?
Who was Lance Vance? Was Lance Vance not quite a big name as well?
He was a famous person, but I can't remember who now.
There was a lot of GTA always has a load of cool characters in it, but to have sort of playing a gangster in Vice City, which was just the coolest of like the GTA ones, with an actual gangster actor style playing it. It was just mainly because he made it work. There was almost like a bit for GTA 5 just because the guy who played Trevor was immense.
Well, yeah.
I can't remember his real name now, but yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah, because he's in The Walking Dead as well. I didn't realize that was the same guy.
We just kept calling him Trevor in that as
well. But he was like fantastic. Was it Stephen Ogg or something?
That's
his
it.
name is, He was like fantastic.
He proper. I mean, they're all good. Michael and Franklin as well. Again, I forget their real name actors, but Trevor just stole the show. Wake up and just screaming shit at someone after being thrown off on bridges.
I think it's the fact that he's kind of that intense in real life as well.
Yeah,
I think that makes
dead.
it.
He was such a Trevor in Walking Dead as well. His character was just nuts.
Have you seen the video with him? It was like at this sort. It wasn't Comic-Con, but it was something like that. And the guy says to him, "Is there any chance that you can tell me to fuck off?" As Trevor, so he's sitting up on the podium, and everybody gets a round of applause, and he does the Trevor walk straight up to the guy's phone, and he's sort of there, face to face with the guy. Does the whole Trevor look, and then just screams in the guy's face to fuck off out of here. And you're just thinking, there wasn't a better person that could have played Trevor. Not even close.
I'll have to look that up. He is very good. Again, they're all very good, but yeah.
That's what I mean. There's a lot of those, but just because they had Ray Liotta doing it,
that was quite a big get. I mean, I must admit, I'm not a big movie guy, so I've never seen any of the films you guys are talking about, and I didn't really know who he was before he was in GTA. I still don't really know who he is now, to be quite honest. But yeah, he was good in that. He was good in GTA Vice City. Did you find out who Lance Vance was?
Lance Vance wasn't the big guy I was thinking. It was somebody else. I thought he was, but it's not. There was other big actors in it, but it wasn't that one.
There was a Vice City Stories, I think, on the PSP, which had Phil Collins in it, which was exciting.
As you do.
What as a voice actor or just
singing? Him and well, he was in a band performing on stage, and you had to protect him from the people coming to attack him. But yeah, it was actually Phil Collins, which was actually a name I knew. Not proud of that, but yeah. What about yourself then, Ross? What is your favourite acting / voice acting / video games?
All of the Arkham series. So obviously you've got Kevin Conroy, Batman, synonymous with the animated series. Growing up as Batman, that was who you automatically thought from as the voice of Batman. And then on the flip side of it, obviously with the Joker, Mark Hamill. Just between the two of them, not mentioning Harley Quinn and things like that, just the two of them as it is, was just Mark Hamill's. I don't even associate him as Luke Skywalker as much as a Star Wars fan as I am. It's every time I hear his voice, all I can think of is Batman, the animated series growing up, and that's just everything that relates to the Joker. As great as sort of Heath Ledger's performance was in the Dark Knight films, Mark Hamill will always be the Joker to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a Batman fan in the slightest at all, but I agree with you there because the performance he put on in the Arkham games, especially, was just.
That's the thing. It's Hamill encompasses everything that the Joker is. He can go from being maniacally funny to terrifying by just tweaking his voice just ever so slightly. And it doesn't matter if he's not the one that's acting because it's an animated character model, but he can just make that performance go from everything you expect from the laughing side of the Clown Prince of Comedy, or the Clown Prince of Crime, sorry, and then to this really deep, dark sadist, and his voice just fits the role perfectly. And then Kevin Conroy on the other side, obviously, just that's Batman to me.
Again, not being a sort of a Batman fan or a cartoon fan or stuff like that. He is Batman to me. Like I've seen a few of the other films and seen other interpretations, and it never ever sounds as good as what Kevin Conroy.
Just the animated series growing up was that was peak Batman for me. Obviously, Dark Knight was fantastic films, not denying that, but none of those two are everything that Batman and the Joker should be to me. And I just think you start off with those two and you work your way down. So obviously you've got Harley Quinn, who's the same voice actress. I don't know if she was the same one that was in the animated series. I desperately try to remember her name, and for the life of me I cannot remember it. But again, she was a great Harley Quinn. So glad that we didn't have Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze in the games. So that was
nice to meet you.
That could have been a bit of a sour point for the Arkham series, but no. In regards to just voice acting, the Arkham series is just mind blowing.
Yeah, it's good. You guys, Dan, Gray, obviously you played the Arkham series, I guess, at some point. Enjoy it?
Yeah, no, I did. I liked the first couple of Batman games, but then their shitty naming thing really knocked me out of my path of which one was which. Like in Arkham City, Arkham Knight, Arkham Toilet, Arkham Cup, and all the other different things. I couldn't know which order they went in. So I don't know which ones I played, but there was definitely two of them. But yeah, the style they had in those games are amazing.
Yeah.
And they can stick their regular trophies up their arse. That thing was a pain in the arse.
I don't know.
I was going to say you definitely got them.
I don't know.
I should ask you as well, really. What is your favourite one out of the four main? Well, I suppose there is only four, weren't there? Really?
City.
City.
Asylum was great because you were 1-on-1 with the Joker, which is what you want in a Batman game. You want to be working towards the Joker. Knight was fantastic because Red Hood's one of my favourite characters in all DC, so it was good to see him getting introduced. Origins was really good for storyline, but it wasn't the best to play. And I think City, giving you the ability to explore Gotham, was really good. The lore you could pick up in regards to, like, obviously when you're flying around Gotham and you pick up like different things like Ace Chemicals and things like the Black Mask and things like that. City was definitely. I liked Night. The bringing in the Batmobile was like a cool little feature, but I think they put too much of an emphasis on it. Like, you could pretty much use that anytime you got near the ground, and it was like, that's not what I really want from a Batman game. Having Ra's al Ghul obviously in City, which again another one of my favourite villains in DC, so that added in sort of a lot of positives between the two of them.
Fair enough. Didn't the Batmobile stuff get sort of royally panned when it came out? And
it wasn't. I mean, it was cool because you were in the Batmobile, and anytime you're in the Batmobile, it's pretty badass. But they relied on it quite a bit because of the way that Night was based. So obviously you had the sort of Tiger was the other game. Christ, I can't remember what they were called. You basically had the forces that the Arkham Knight was in control of. So you had to sort of take them on in the Batmobile, which was...
I remember they're battling in the cars, yeah.
Yeah, which was cool, but it took away from what the story was. It was... I wanted to be Batman, not sitting in a Batmobile all day.
Yeah, it's like a massive tank type thing in the end, wasn't it? Like,
yeah. And also, no, was it City or was it Night? I think it was City that had the Man-Bat in it. And holy shit, that was the biggest fucking jump scare I've ever had in any game ever. Rappelling up to a rooftop like you would do 100 times in that game, and the first time you ever get to the point where you can get him into the storyline, just as you're about to mantle back up onto the roof, he just sticks his head over and screams in your face. Holy shit. Fucking terrified.
He caught you off guard.
A little bit.
Top 10 scares of all time.
Was not expecting that.
Batman.
Little bat plop.
Yeah. It was a little bit of bat plop, yes. There was a little bit of guana in it.
Yeah. All right, nice. Okay. Well, I'll run through mine very, very, very quickly. I've chosen Portal because Ian's not here to steal it from me. Motherfucker. So, obviously, Ellen McLean as GLaDOS is GOAT tier because she is just awesome. I know they obviously put a lot of effects and stuff on her voice, but as I understand, a lot of it is her herself sort of getting that sort of weird robotic inflection. And the lines are just perfectly written at all times. I don't think it's a bad line in Portal, and she just teasing you or ripping you to shreds or telling you I'm going to murder you. Like, all right.
The fact that she does it in such a cheery voice.
Exactly, yeah. She's so positive about it. You're going to die today. Okay.
Oh, thanks.
There will be cake at the end. Okay, thank you. And then obviously you've got fucking I looked up his name a second ago. Stephen Merchant as Wheatley in Portal 2.
Yep.
He was kind of the perfect sort of yin to her yang type thing. The way he come across as him in things like The Office and stuff, just very stuttering, very British, but very funny. When you start the game, he's like, okay, now jump. No, say apple. When you press the A button to say apple and you jump, he goes, okay, well, that was a jump, but let's try again. And it's just, just the way it's delivered is just perfect. And then obviously you've got J.K. Simmons as Cave Johnson in Portal 2 as well. And his rants are obviously legendary on YouTube.
Anything that J.K. Simmons is in it automatically bumps it up a couple of notches.
Yeah, again, not someone I was massively familiar with before Portal 2. I know he'd been in things. He was in Spider-Man and stuff.
Spider-Man, yeah.
I can't remember the reporter.
J. Jonah Jameson.
That's it, yeah. But yeah, the rant about the lemons is epic. Just every even if he just has a short 10-word line, he just delivers it perfectly. and I don't think there's many games with great voice acting like Last of Us, Uncharted, God of War, the ones you guys have mentioned. But I don't think anything beats Portal for just sheer on pointness from beginning to end. It just doesn't stop. I know Graham's not a big fan of Portal, but I can't. Yeah, it's just awesome, absolutely awesome. And yeah, so if you play Portal, you know, and if you haven't, then fucking go and play Portal.
Get
because
played.
they're such good games.
Such an amazing game.
Play something better, which
and
is everything.
not only is the voice acting awesome, but they're very funny
Yeah.
and consistently funny. It's not even like, oh yeah, that was all right. It's just
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I
It's
enjoyed
from
the
start
Super
to finish.
Merchant bit as well. It's just that the game was pants.
The one part with like GLaDOS that I really like is it's basically like, see if you try and cheat or you try and like do something that obviously you're not meant to be trying to do, and she just sort of looks at you, or she just sort of like comes on this voice like, and it's like, you're not a nice person. You're the one trying to kill me, bitch.
Again, it's just such perfectly pitched. It's
Yeah.
like there's no
It's like
sort of. It's not trying too hard. It's just, you know, this is.
It's kind
how
of
it is.
monotone robotic, but at the same
Yeah.
time you can sort of feel the disgust, even though it's monotone.
Yeah. So you must drop the companion cube into the furnace. It's like,
Oh,
I
see,
don't
now I
want
want
to
to
drop
play
the companion
now I
cube
want to
into
play
the
Portal.
furnace.
Why are they not bringing out a new Portal game?
Because Valve can't count to 3. Right. So that's all of our
They know when
choices.
to stop. The same with Half-Life.
I would play them to the end of time. Very quickly, have you checked out? I think I mentioned it before. Is it Mel Stories? Some fan-made chapter of Portal 2.
No. I'm intrigued.
It's on Steam. I think it's free to download.
More to the point, have you played the Turing test?
No, I haven't. Let's move on.
Why have you not
So-
played that? It's very much like Portal. You'll love it.
No, I know. Again, that's another one I had downloaded for fucking ages, and I just never ever got around to it. But yeah, Mel Stories. It's very hard, very, very, very challenging, but very good. There's no voice acting in it, though, really.
No, that's the same with
So
Turing test, actually.
It's mainly just the puzzles themselves.
Turing
which
test
is
has got
obviously-
voices in it, but more so the story in between the puzzles.
Yeah. I think it's still on my hard drive now, but one day. But let's talk about stuff we are playing. So should we wrap up Project Game Pass for the month?
Yes.
Yes.
So this month's Project Game Pass was the newly released The Ascent, which came out at the beginning of August. My review is up on the site now. Go to xboxhammer.com. Let us know what you thought.
Oh, yeah.
And we all played it over the month. So I'm going to go to Ross first because he's probably played the most of it. Ross.
World record completion. Complete the full game in an hour. And by full
Success.
game, I mean the last 2 levels. But yeah, I
And he
dropped
carried us the whole way.
dropped in level 1 and finished the game at level 24 in the space of an hour. So that
He was
was
racking up the XP because he was
just
getting
mowing people down left,
thousands,
right, and
yeah.
centre. Actually, a really good game. Like I say, I was totally under level. That I was just quite happy to come along for the ride. It's a really nice looking game. I love the
pretty.
colours. I would say, as much as I love the colours, I would say some of the things are a little bit difficult because the markers that they use for highlighting things, whether it be the people or the enemies, kind of clash into the background. It's very red heavy.
Yeah, we noticed that, didn't we, Greg? Because we were playing. All of us had our own custom colours.
Yeah.
When mine was orange, Ian's was purple, I think, and Graham's was something that was similar to red. I
Blue
can't-
and red.
Yeah,
Blue and red. So I think that
but-
was
that's why we ended up with yellow, green, and like bright colours, just trying to make
Yeah.
us stand out.
that's the only downside I would say, because visually the game's really nice. It's very vibrant, very intense in the colours. But when you start then factoring in your characters' colours, it sort of becomes a wee bit difficult to differentiate. A million miles an hour. Like, it's just, that game it drops you in and there's no punches pulled. It is just, there you go. There's 500 enemies standing in front of you. Good luck.
Yeah, especially as you coming in,
Way
as you
under.
say, so late to the game and at level 1. I mean, as you said, you leveled up quickly, but even that was still not enough to.
No, because it's not like, I think that was what we were discovering. I could get the skill points and that made my character a bit better, but I was rocking level 1 armor, level 1 augments, level 1 weapons, so it was never going to end well. I did like the augment system. I quite liked that. I thought it was quite a good little feature that they had on it. Another thing, it took me I'm not saying it took me a long time, but it did take me a little bit getting used to. Obviously, 95% of games that involve guns is RT shoots, LT aims.
Yeah.
And I did find it difficult not touching LT, because if you're touching LT, you're aiming up.
Yeah.
So if something's coming along you at the same level as you and you hit LT, you're not going to shoot. Or you're going to shoot, you're not going to hit them though. So I was sort of, the first few bits that I was doing, I was holding LT shooting and they were still swarming me. I was like, the fuck am I not hitting these guys for?
Yeah, if you've got the little gremlins running on the ground, you're just going to shoot over their head here.
And also with the aiming, sort of left stick moves your guy, and if you move your guy in the direction of the people running towards you, you'll shoot them. But you don't necessarily want to be moving towards your enemy at all times. So remembering that to flick the right stick to be aiming your cursor, again, took a little bit of time just to work out exactly what I was doing in regards to that.
Yeah.
But overall, really nice looking game. I think you were saying the other night, Jay, storyline is a bit difficult to keep on top of, but visually it's really nice. And I think if you could sit down and sort of get through the story and understand it, really solid game.
Yeah, there is a story there to enjoy. But if you're playing, as we said before, in other co-op games, you haven't really got the time to sit and watch it or take it in. And to be honest, even when I played it on my own, by the time it got to the point where it all started to sort of kick off, I was done with it. I was just like, yeah, skip through all the extra dialogue things. Now I'm not interested. Get to the point. But it's enjoyable enough, but it's certainly not gonna end up on any best voice acting or best storyline lists anytime soon.
You didn't get to kill Poon.
No, Poon seemed like a pain in the ass. I only played like the first wee bit in the last mission, and Poon seemed like an idiot.
Yeah, and without spoiling it, the ending kind of happened, didn't it? There was no, we kind of beat the end boss, and then it was like, oh, that's the end.
Yeah, it did seem kind of. Okay. It almost seemed like that was like one type of ending, and you could have had different ones.
Yeah. I don't think there are different ones, but
if you were, I wouldn't know how you would achieve them.
Yeah, there's got to be some sort of DLC or some sort of expansion planned, I imagine, to round it off, because it just kind of went, all right, you did that. Oh, you're
free now.
That's enough. Yeah, off you go. Daniel, I know you've had a bit of time to play. What are your thoughts?
I enjoyed it. As Ross was saying, I don't want to echo the same things about the vibrant world. It all looks really good. There were a couple of sticky things for me, like in the menu system. As you were adding points or moving over and changing your gun or picking a new gun, it seems so easy to quickly get flicked out of that menu.
Yeah.
Like most times you press B to go back one step, and if you did that, it'd kick you out of the whole menu system. So that was really frustrating.
The UI wasn't very intuitive. Should we say?
Yeah, 100%.
But the thing is, I don't think it's a particularly big studio, so it's not like they've got.
No, I think they were making Nelson's podcast. So I don't think it was overly big.
Yeah, the email I got with the code that we got, it had a picture of them all, and there's 12 people, and they've all got wonderful names. Like the main guy's called Arcade.
Oh, nice!
That's his name.
He was in the right line of work.
Yeah.
God, I hope he buddied up with Cabinet, and then they stood like Ant and Dec.
The other guys all had awesome names. I can't remember them now, but that one just stood out to me.
But yeah, the game was good. It felt all right playing it, going through. Obviously, much more fun having 4 of you. One of the frustrating, it would be nice. I was saying, me and Graham played it last night, and for me, it would be nice if you could leave the slots open, so you could have like drop in, drop out co-op, or like random matchmaking. It's frustrating that you have to go through right at the beginning, because playing some of it single player can be quite hard. It didn't feel like that. It always seemed like there was the same amount of enemies, and it didn't like ramp up. But other than that, I did enjoy playing what I've played of it so far.
Do you think you'll go back and finish it now that we've sort of finished with Project Game Pass?
Dan doesn't finish games. Don't be ridiculous.
I realised I was setting him up for that, but I thought I'd ask him.
Games. Possibly if a couple of other people jump in with me and carry me along, I think it is a good game to kind of sit, chat, and not have the kind of being invested in the game, if that makes sense. You could play it kind of just chatting in a party chat and shooting and just off you go.
Yeah, as I say, you don't have to pay attention to the story. You just go in and shoot some shit.
Yeah, and that's it. So for that part, possibly.
I'm pretty
Although,
sure
Dan,
you
I
can do the
offered
final
to
stretch
finish.
by himself.
I was gonna say I offered to finish Borderlands with you, and you still didn't do it. So I'm not offering to finish the Ascent with you because you're just rude and you stand me up all the time and break my heart.
I must admit as well, I've pretty much finished it twice at this point. So my
You don't want
desire
a
to go
third?
back yet again it's quite low at this point. As
The
much
thing
as I
is,
did enjoy it.
What level did you finish on, Jay? Because did you not see you were the highest in the group?
I think by the time we were done, it was 28, 29.
So by the time we had finished and I had jumped in and leveled up in that last few minutes,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
on
you
like
caught- you
I was
caught
on
up
like
real quick.
24 or something. So like length of the game, it's not a particularly long game. If you were finishing in level
No,
28,
you've
for
just
example.
ruined it when you go back to playing it to yourself.
Yeah, I'm just going to walk through it. Ting,
You were going
ting,
to be rinsing
ting,
everything.
ting.
Yeah, it took-
Oh,
it
well, this
took
is
me-
hard.
It took me until, well, not long before you started joining us, really, to get to like level 27, maybe. I only went up once or twice while we were playing with you, whereas you went up 24 times. So once you get to the higher levels, the XP amount just ratchets right up. I don't know. There is a cap. I can't remember what it is. But it's quite a bit further than what I got to. But again, that is going to require multiple playthroughs, and it's not really something I'm interested in doing right now. Yeah, so we're done with that for now. Anyone else got any thoughts they want to put on the Ascent? We should wrap that up.
I'm gonna give it sort of like a there.
A fair to middling.
It was good. Could have been better, but
Yeah.
it wasn't bad. So I'll give it sort of there.
Daniel,
Yeah.
thumb rating, please.
Yeah, I think middle of the road. It was okay. It was good to play. Don't play it by yourself. So
Why did
I'll go
Dan
with
feel
that.
like he needed two hands there? Was like one not
Well, I was gonna.
putting the message out enough there?
Yeah, no. I think at middle. I think it's worth a play, but only with a group of friends.
Yeah. And Graham, thumb rating?
Yeah, exactly the same. The story was meh, and there's just too many bugs at times.
There was a lot of bugs.
Sort of, if one person goes into the store and the other person starts the mission, shit goes crazy.
Yeah. And the amount of times we were playing and our health and armor disappeared, so we couldn't see how whether we were nearly dead or whether we needed new ammo or whatever.
Yeah.
Might have a YouTube short of one of the bugs we encountered, or one that Graham encountered yesterday. I watched that all the way through sober. That's ridiculous.
There was bugs? No, surely not.
What happened? That I dropped out or something? My game
your
crashed.
connection dropped out. And I was still playing in his game, and it was just permanently reloading his character.
And I was just doing this with the shotgun. So yeah, I'll drop that into a YouTube short for everybody to laugh at.
Enjoy some Ascent content.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, so yeah, fair to middling for me. I mean, my review is pretty much the same. I think I'll give it a 6 out of 10, something like that. It's enjoyable enough, especially as like with friends. But I don't really. After doing it twice, I've no interest in going back to it anytime soon. So yeah, so we were going to pick a new one. Obviously, the month isn't quite up yet, and we're missing Ian today, so we don't want to decide about it. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk amongst ourselves. We're going to put a poll up on Twitter, which is at Xbox Tavern, which will have a selection of games that we've sort of decided on. And then if you would like to vote, we will play whatever is the top voted game for the month of September. So I don't think there's anything massively exciting coming out to Game Pass in September, is there?
Not anything that I've seen in the news as of yet. I'll see if there's anything rumoured, but I don't think so.
As it is, there's a lot of stuff on there. Obviously, we could play. Usually, we tend to pick multiplayer games. We might go for a couple of single-player ones this time, so we can all just play in our own time and report back. But yeah, we'll see. That'll go up tomorrow, so Monday morning or Monday at some point, and then we'll put it up.
So games that they're saying that is rumoured to be coming in: Surgeon Simulator 2, Access All Areas, The Artful Escape, I Am Fish, Skateboard, Origami 2, Sable, Lemnis Gate, and Astria Ascending.
Yes.
So nothing major as of yet.
Yeah,
but
there's a couple of good sounding games in there, but I think a couple like Lemnis Gate aren't until the end of the month, are they?
yeah,
Or
28.
towards the end of the
So
month, yeah.
your early ones: Surgeon Simulator, Artful Escape, and then before the middle of the month, you've got Iron Fish skateboard, and then the rest are sort of halfway through. So
Yeah, well, we'll have a look and we'll decide. And like I said, we'll put a poll up on Twitter.
we do love a poll.
We'll have a poll or two. Speaking of which, that's an awful segue. Video games.
I wasn't even close to a segue.
No, I completely ran out of steam with that one. I was just like, oh, I lost it.
Why does Dan? I was going to say Dan had froze it, and it looks like he was doing something inappropriate with his microphone there.
No, I was coughing.
He was thinking about the Ascent bug.
Yeah.
Ross, you've been playing. Oh, what's this? That's something new. What have you been playing?
Yes, I know. I have been playing Ye Old Faithful. I've got addicted to my sort of career that I'm playing through in Football Manager. So we're doing it's basically 2 championship teams, but instead of playing with any players, we are playing with random players. We've clicked non-real players, so nobody that in the game is actually existing. So it's the hardest sort of way through playing it. We have just finished our first season. Finished that on I can't even think what day we're on Sunday. So we've probably finished that on Thursday night. I think we finished it. Brentford set a new points tally at the championship, top of the league. Only lost 4 games all season, 100 and odd goals scored. So a very, very comfortable season for Brentford. However, I will give an honest mention that we got bet by Bristol City, the other gentleman's team, in the last game of the season. So we are both promoted and going up to the Premier League for a bit of a step up in challenge, because the league was well and truly romped by Brentford and Bristol City this year.
Fair enough. And so this new season will begin shortly, I imagine. And this is the one you were saying last week where it takes like hours and hours to finish the season.
Well, we're looking at that. Well, that's one season played, and we've played. I'm just trying to think. We've probably played that a good 10 or 12 nights from 10 till 1:30 in the morning. So it's at 3.5 hours a night, 10 times, so 30 hours roughly to get through a season.
Not bad.
So tonight after podcast, plan on doing some, and this will be the longest part, because this is the end of the season and recruitment for stepping up to the big time. So we'll probably be another 10-15 hours just trying to organise our squad before the start of next season. So it's definitely a commitment, but I think it's not so much.
Sorry, I dozed off.
Just about to say, Jay's up a frozen.
Jay's dead.
Glazed over.
It's not so much this year, but I think the 2017 model, I've got something like 1,200 hours in the game.
So you quite like it then?
Yeah, bit of a Football Manager fanatic. Dan will be able to attest back to Champ Manager 0102.
Loved it.
I think my obsession started in Champ Manager 95, 96, and I don't think I've missed a year since.
Did you ever do the one where they had the Italian, the German, they brought out separate SKUs for each country?
Yep, I also went into the FIFA Football Manager, so you could actually have your total club, so you could take your club that you managed in football and FIFA on the console and play it on the PC as the manager version of your career. So I've done it all. I've done that. I've done Total Manager. It's a slight addiction, if we're being honest.
And commitment.
Well, and commitment. In fairness, back in the Champ Manager days, it used to be you could play a full season in a night. And then they started introducing the Football Manager aspect where you could tweak your training and your scouts and press conferences and things like that. So it now becomes that you can complete like a week in a night instead of a season. So it used to be a lot less complicated, but it was... The thing about these new ones is I think one of the most appealing aspects to me is, maybe not so much in this save because we're playing with fake players, but it's finding these players 2 or 3 seasons before you hear about them in the big teams.
Yeah.
So I can remember in 0102, I was playing it with my big cousin at the time. I actually discovered Kaká when he was playing in the lower tiers in Brazil. And I found this guy, brought him in my team, and this was before he had obviously sort of struck rich in Italy. And that's like my sort of like little claim to fame, that I knew about Kaká before anybody else did. So
So you could have been fucking making the millions now.
That's the thing. Like anybody, any football
teams.
people who are attached to any clubs, if you're looking for somebody to be like a first team scout or like a data analyst, chaotic UI on Twitter, or you'll find various ways to get in contact with me on there. So if you're looking for somebody to find you the next sort of superstar from either the lower leagues in Peru or from the Balkans or anything like that, just hit me up. I'm free. I'm good to sort of tell you what I know.
Wasn't there a genuine story where some guy put his football manager experience down on a CV or something?
It's actually becoming, and whether or not you believe them or not, but David Moyes, the West Ham United manager, has actually said that he has looked at Football Manager to sign players. So he's got people to play Football Manager, find players that are on the game, and then has sent scouts out in real life to go and look at these players to see if they're good enough. The thing is, the people that are buying, like SI, do a fantastic job with like the in depth of this, and like there's a player that's signing. I think Tottenham were looking at him, Christian Romano, and he's been in Football Manager. He's been a big signing in Football Manager since Football Manager 18, and that's Tottenham just looking at him. But he's been known to the Football Manager community for the last 4 years. So it does work. There is players that are in Football Manager that are great in Football Manager that turn out to be great in real life. It's just not everybody that's in Football Manager turns out to be a real life superstar.
And there's some stinkers though.
Oh, there is some howlers.
It all sounds a bit too complicated for my liking.
It's like I've got a notepad.
How many red cards can you get?
Well, I went through that whole season not picking up one, so I was one of the best disciplined.
You're doing it wrong.
Best disciplined team in the league. But no, this is how sad it is. I sit with a notepad and write down everything, whether it would be small tweaks to tactics, the dates that youth intakes are for different nations, so that I know to be scouting that country to find the next potential 15, 16-year-old superstar. It's not something that you just click into and play. You've got to dedicate time to it.
I just want to remind everybody of this podcast next time I talk about Resident Evil for 10 minutes.
Hey, I'm toning this down. I can make this a 4, 5, 6 hour dissertation if needs be.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you enjoy it, Ross. And if you enjoy it, hit up at Chaotic UI on Twitter. Getting some dialogue going on.
Damn right, I will drop you any hints and tips I can.
Get a peek at his notepads.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Yes, well, it sounds wonderful. I do enjoy your passion, but I can't lie.
Do it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, the fairness,
I'm sure we'll get an update next week.
Probably. It's about the only thing I've managed to get any time gaming on, because I can start playing it at 10:30 at night when my wife's sort of lying in bed snoring her head off. The thing is, you say about obsession. Dan used to spend £80 a month on FIFA. At least I'm not like, as much as I write down everything, I don't spend any extra money on Football Manager.
It's true. Just make the most of it. All right. Speaking of Daniel, what have you been playing, sir?
I've been playing a review title that I finally finished. It was Greek Memories of Azure. So it was a Metroidvania game. You are Greek who needs to find his brother and sister after shit went down.
Is that the official term in the law?
Yeah. Greek looks like he needs to hit the gym, by the way, as well. They scrawny little arms ain't climbing many mountains for long.
Well, yeah, I don't know how he got his double jump. He must have legs of steel. I really enjoyed this. I have a love-hate relationship with Metroidvanias. Like the constant back and forth and going, kind of exploring an area to then go back to grab something else to then open up a new kind of section of the map sometimes frustrates the hell out of me. But when I saw this game, I was like, oh yeah, this looks really cool. And it is a good game. They've got a strange, not the right word. They've got a quirk mechanic to the game. So when you find your brother or your sister, you can play with them both at the same time. That sounded completely wrong. You can control them at the same time.
You don't help yourself, Daniel.
No, I completely. The words weren't there today.
No.
So you can control them at the same time by hitting your LT button, and as you're going through, she'll move along with you. And then they've got two different types of like abilities, weapons, and jumps. So Greek can double jump. His sister, Adara, she can kind of do this like jump and float just across the map. So when you're trying to do some really tight, specific jumps, the whole thing just shits the bed and doesn't work. However, well, it doesn't, because you kind of time it with the double jump in mind, forgetting that she floats, and you're just like, shit. So you have to kind of unbind them. But you can control them separately, which is nice. Yeah, the story was good. You have to help fix an airship, and then fly away to your new home. It's touching. It's nice. The art style's really cool. It's all hand drawn as well.
It kind of looks like a more drawn version of Ori, Amy.
So yeah, so this has got massive comparisons with Ori and the Blind Forest, like just how the look, the way the music plays, story's a bit heart wrenching. It's really cool. Team 17 publish some bangers every few months. A really good game comes out. Like another one that springs to mind was Neon Abyss. That game is fantastic.
Which is also in Game Pass, I believe.
Oh, is it?
It was in Game Pass at some point, I think. Yeah.
But yeah, so if you like Metroidvanias, this is one to get, one to play. Yeah, it's a cool little game. There are some annoyances through it, but as with any game, there's always going to be some sort of annoying feature that frustrates the hell out of you.
Oh, I see.
Indeed.
I'm just watching the trailer there, and I see what you mean about like the little float thing that she does. So it's like, instead of like a double jump type idea, it's like she jumps and then sort of.
Yeah, like it's as if the dress gets like an updraft, and she just goes across.
Dan, stop talking. Just move on to your next game, man.
All right, so yeah, so Greek, it's good. It's been out for about a month or so now, isn't it? I think it came out early August.
Yeah,
I'm not digging now. I'm just saying it's been out since I think the early August.
Yeah,
and it looks interesting. It definitely looks like one of those ones, as you say, if you like Ori, you want to check it out.
Yeah, definitely massive Ori vibes from it.
Yeah, that's the first thing I got from it when I was watching it. It looks very Ori-ish.
Yeah, really cool. Really cool.
Cool. You've been playing anything else, or should we go to Grayman?
So you can go to Grayman. I've played a bit of Ascent, but we've spoken about that. So
the Ascent, yes.
Ascent.
Graham, have you been playing video games? Please don't say Football Manager.
I can't submit my life more to those kind of games. I didn't used to play those.
I'll wait till next week when I tell you everything that's happened in the pre-season. Oh, it's going to be delightful.
I can't wait.
I'm going to have spec sheets and everything.
I want a full 35-minute PowerPoint presentation on the players you found, the transfers you made, and all the other good stuff.
You got nothing to say. This is like revenge on you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is Halo and Resident Evil rolled up into one. Just Football Manager life.
I'm well aware that I deserve it, but I'm still going to give back as much as I got.
You with that, him with that, and me and Dan are just like the shit sandwich in the middle. The filling between that.
Well, you're filling your rightful place. What have you been playing?
Well, talking of shit sandwiches, my review game was King's Bounty 2. Yeah, it was a game that had a lot of promise, but it is slow paced. So everything's so unnecessarily slow. And it's just got a few niggles in there. It just drives me nuts. First bit is just no running, no run button or anything. I mean, it's got quite a sort of a vast open kind of world to sort of explore, and it explores it at a slow ass jog. It's like at that pace that you see like people running for the train, like they're doing a pretend jog and they're not actually getting any faster than a walking pace. It's like that kind of speed. It's tedious.
I don't know how the graphics compare to the trailer that I'm watching, but it looks gorgeous.
It does. The graphics are literally kind of one of the better things for it.
Looks amazing.
The voice acting is a bit hit and miss at times. The you get a choice out of sort of 3 characters, And this is the weird bit about it. You can pick from like a warrior, a mage, or a paladin, and you can equip them, but they never fight.
Oh,
But they
What?
command. They're commanders.
Oh.
And you can switch from a sword to a bow, and yeah, you still can't fight. So all it does is just give you like points to your commanding ability. So it's odd. It's like you'd want them to get involved, but they never do. And the warrior guy is the one I chose. He actually sounds a bit like the same voice actor that does The Witcher. Sounds very, very much like him. But it's got none of that kind of storytelling goodness. I mean, the actual strategy battle games are like the best bit about it. It's sort of a hexagonal grid. You sort of place your troops. You make use of the obstacles, and you just got to sort of you can't just sit back and play defense because you can get caught out by the sort of the long range kind of attackers and get stuffed that way. But the problem is they've not put a difficulty slider in it, and they've not put areas to grind in it. So they've kind of sort of emphasized on an RPG element because they weren't an RPG beforehand. And I've got to a point where there's sort of two areas on the map where all the side quests I'm doing are on the other side of it, and the two main quests are in the way. You have to beat them to get past it. And what this game does is, as you sort of walk into the battle, you can either fight it or decline it. It tells you how stronger they are than your army or what they are. So it says you're equal with them, or they're weaker than you, or they're stronger or much stronger. And I've got to face either a stronger army or a much stronger army, and I can't get past them. And I don't know what you're supposed to do. There's nowhere to sort of grind to sort of get your troops better. So you just either got to fluke it or kind of give up.
Is there any way to save mid-battle so you can sort of like take one turn at a time type thing?
Nope. You can save before the battle, and that's kind of it. I mean, the battles themselves don't take massive amounts of time. They could sort of stretch from about sort of 5 minutes to about 15. But it's just the fact that, it's
still frustrating
they're
though if you're
stronger
dying
than
over
you.
and over again.
Yeah, or at least give a way to balance it. Sort of, if there was a grind bit saying, okay, you just have to sort of, battle these ones to sort of make your army a bit stronger, or get enough gold to buy, higher troops, or level up a bit more to command your army a bit better. But there's none of that there, and it just makes no sense. With no difficulty sliders there either, how are you supposed to get past two overly hard battles? You just got to keep on doing it until you fluke past it, and that's not my idea of fun.
No, that's the kind of the wrong kind of grinding, isn't it?
So you're saying like
getting anything out of it.
Yeah, you're saying about the grinding. So see if you fight the hard but not impossibly hard battle, and you get beat, do you gain like, I don't know if it's XP or whatever it may be, but do you gain any like that to level up a wee bit, even if you get bit?
Even if you get experience, you lose your army. They've been killed, so what you got left is what's in your reserve army.
Right. Okay.
And then you've got to use the remaining gold to buy more troops to do it.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, the troops you're going to buy are not going to be as strong as the army you just built up.
So you're diminishing returns by trying to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you go back a second time with a slightly shitter army.
Yeah. Right.
Again.
Okay. That seems like a bit of a broken mechanic then. If you've not got the ability to go elsewhere to try and get the necessary,
or, balance the books. There's no way to balance it. And then I've tried, and then I'm sick of fucking slow jogging everywhere to try and find another battle to try and improve.
And so you sort of hit that sticking point. You said there's nowhere to go and grind. Is there any like side missions throughout the game, or is it just mission after mission?
There were side missions, and I did get enough gold to buy the kind of troops, and that you steer yourself into one of four factions. The Order, Anarchy. I think one's like Finesse, which is magic on power, which is just purely around sort of aggression. And I tried to do a bit of order and a bit of aggression to try and create sort of a powerhouse army. Yeah. And so you buy the troops that lean towards that, but even that really didn't kind of help. And I mean, you use sort of magical spells in the game, but I'm trying. My guy's the warrior; can use magic as much, so it just seems a bit of a slight waste. But I think at some point it's needed. You're going to have to use every spell that you got your whim to do it. And a bit, I think, is broken. They've got like ready challenges bit. It's part of the main quest, but it's like you're not fighting with your army. You're playing the part of another person who's commanding another army, and it's like a head-on-head challenge. You know, the things are level. You have to beat this challenge to complete the mission, like a challenge kind of way, rather than facing your own army. And I beat it, and they said I should have got like 10,000 gold, but I never saw a sign of that gold. I never got it.
Yeah, well, that's a bit strange, isn't it? Because surely it should show you.
It said
should
what
give
your
you what
rewards
you
were. It
expected,
said
yeah.
you got these special kind of armor and 10,000 gold, but I never got that gold. That gold might have come in handy to sort of buy the higher end troops, but yeah, I think I bought the most expensive troops I could, and it still says the enemy is much stronger. Fine. I don't know what to do now. I've done challenges. I've done all the side quests I can. All the other side quests are the other side of these turds, and I just can't get past them.
Is it turn-based, or is it like Command and Conquer where you're all...
It's turn-based as much of every one of your troops has a speed level. So the order goes in like the order of how fast they are. So you might be like 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5 on their side, and then 6, 7 on your side, depending on the speed of your troops and their troops. So it's an order of how fast the troops are. So it makes sense, and it's quite a clever mechanic. To me, the combat style is amazing, and the tactical side of it, that's why I was kind of getting in on it. But I can't beat something that's impossible. I'm not saving and reloading just to sort of try and creep my way through it. It shouldn't be how it's played.
Well, yeah, as you say, it's kind of luck of the draw type thing. If you get a shitty run, then you've got no chance here.
But it's not modernized. Sort of the modern day thing is you put a difficulty slider for the people that just want the story to sort of play through it. And as a reviewer, you kind of want to tone it down so you can play as much of it as possible to give it the fairest review.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a shame. Yeah, got stuck.
Have you been playing anything you've enjoyed this week then?
Yeah. Other than that, as you mentioned before, that Dodgeball Academia.
Oh, yeah.
I actually jumped onto that. I wanted to see what it was like because I played a few dodgeball games before, and it reminded me of the Inazuma 11 games I used to play on the DS. And it's just it's very childish and sort of the Japanese, and it's just a funny storyline on there. But I love that. It's good. It's quite sort of reflex based, and the story is a bit standard, but it's just the way it plays. You're just sort of doing side quests, playing loads of different games of dodgeball, and it's just different skills and stuff. It just reminds me of those kind of games.
Nice. So is this something?
Enjoying.
Is that something we could play together, like as a group, or no?
It's just a single player. Oh, I don't know actually. I think there is a versus mode in there, but I was just too busy sort of headstrong into the story.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But that's on Game Pass. I see you got a hold of it.
It is, yeah. Saw that. But yes, that and I've already injected quite a few hours into it already, so I was kind of loving that.
Yeah, happy days. At least you found something you enjoyed this week, sir. We did have someone who wanted to review it for the site, but it never panned out. But it looks good, so check it out. Game Pass. Yeah.
Game Pass.
Game Pass, indeed.
Best value in gaming.
Best value in gaming by a mile. So yeah, games. I've been playing games.
What did you play, Jay?
Can I tell you about one?
Go for it.
Two. The main one this week, really, I want to talk about is Lake. So this was part of the demo showcase back in the summer, and I played about an hour or so of it, and I put a video up on YouTube, which is still up. You should go check it out because I stumbled my way through waffling on about video games for a change. And it's very good. You play as a lady called Meredith. I forgot to say I did it again. Meredith Weiss, and she has gone back to her hometown to take over her dad's job of being a postman while he's off gallivanting, basically on retirement. And the gist of it is you get in a post, like an American style post van at the start of the day. You have your route on the map you follow, you deliver post or deliver parcels. But along the way you meet various characters. So it's kind of like a Telltale style game. So you meet them and you get dialogue choices to choose what you want to say to them and stuff. And then over the course of this 2 weeks, she spends in this town called Providence Oaks, and you develop relationships and you can help them with various side missions or help them with like optional dialogue type thing. Or you can just say, "No, I'm not interested," and to do one. And there's a couple of relationships you can do as well. And it's just something very chill and very relaxed. Like it's not challenging. There's no time limit to deliver the parcels. Even when you're choosing a dialogue option, say, I want to help you or I want to get stuffed. There's no pressure. There's no concern. It's just like, I'm not really interested in that right now. Okay, no worries. And then they'll talk to you the next day when you go back to them to deliver another parcel. And it's just something like, obviously when we play games, sometimes we play them for competitiveness, sometimes we play for story, and this is just something just to play, just to chill out with. It's just so calming. It's wonderful. It's really, really good.
How does it compare to Last Stop? Is it that type
taken
style?
the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say, animation wise, it looks very, very similar to Last Stop.
The visuals and the animations are very similar to Last Stop, but this is a more active game. So whereas in Last Stop you're just picking dialogue options and just watching, whereas this you're actually controlling the character walking around and driving around, and when you pick up the parcel you got to get out of the back of your van, you walk into the shop or into the restaurant or whatever, and then the dialogue scenes plays. It's similar, like I said, like Telltale or Last Stop, something like that. But again, even if you pick quote unquote the bad option, it's still very like, well, I don't really feel like doing that right now. Okay, no problem. But there's never any like, I can't believe you fucking done it, blah, blah, I hate you kind of thing. It's just, it's all right, it's fine. And yeah, it's just a really chill game, just so much fun. The driving around delivering posts is really easy. The map is not very big, so it only takes maybe 5 minutes to deliver all the posts for a day. But once you've done that, that's when you get the extra missions. And then after every day, you get a scene where she's back at home, where she talks to her parents on the phone, or she talks back to her boss at her job in the big city where she come from, or she watches a movie with some kids, or she goes on a date with one of the characters you can romance. And it's just, very enjoyable, very chill, and just a lovely time. It might sound a bit sad and a bit weird, but I genuinely didn't want it to end. I just wanted to carry on just playing it just every night, just going in, just playing an hour or so, and just experiencing this town. It's like, like you see in the films, like the idyllic vision of, like small town life where everybody knows everybody, and they walk along and they, oh, hi Bob, how you doing today? And then they walk along and they share salt and sugar and look after each other's kids and just bake pies for everybody. It just it's lovely. It's really, but less Australian. But really charming, really lovely, and I very much enjoyed it. And the only problem I really had with it was that, as I say, you're in there for 2 weeks, and each of the weekdays is broken up into its own chapter. But once you get to the final day, you sort of have that final day, and then you have the final scenes, but it doesn't warn you that that's going to happen. So my last save was a few days before that, so probably an hour or two before the end. So I did the end, and I did the scene I wanted to do, and it ended. But if I want to do the other scenes, which I do want to do, I've got to play through that whole 2 hour stretch again. I can't just do that last day again because the autosave didn't work. But other than that, very enjoyable.
And
sorry, I adjusted mine a little bit.
You can go back into it.
Yeah, no, I very much enjoyed it. Very enjoyable, and I would highly recommend playing it. I don't think it's out until the 1st of September. But yeah, really, really good. Very, just something chill to play on an evening. Very nice.
It seems like you've sold someone on the in our YouTube chat. He says it looks good. He thinks he's going to try the demo.
I highly recommend it. It's just, I can't express how just calm it just
just how settling it is.
Yeah, it's because it's got some fantastic music as well. Very country orientated, but it's all I like a bit of country as well. But it's that kind of like indie country where it's just really like just chill and just I love it. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So if you get a chance to play it when it comes out on the 1st of September, I recommend you do so because very nice. And then on the opposite spectrum, I played a game called Star Hunter DX, which is a bullet hell shooter which kicked my ass over and over and over again. It's what it says on the tin, bullet hell. So you start as a ship on the left, but enemies come to the right, and then they fill the screen with bullets, and you die, and you die, and you die, and you start again, and you die, and you start again, and you die.
Is this Gallagher?
Yeah, but like turned up to about 20.
Yeah, because that's when as I clicked on the trailer, and I was like, oh, this looks familiar.
It's very good looking, and it is very fun. And I did start to get quite good at it towards the end.
Okay, Edgar's a badass.
Fucking hard as a bastard. It literally just bullet hell. Obviously, they fill the screen with bullets, and the idea is that you're going to die. And they don't waste any time in filling the screen with bullets. They just carnage left, right, and centre.
I love how on the trailer it does say play from beginner to expert. At what part is the beginner getting any way through this game?
There's the three differences. There's the beginner, there's the intermediate, and there's the expert. Beginner is hard as a bollock. Intermediate is going to kick your grandmother, and expert is basically going to come and grab your console and say, "You're not allowed to play this anymore. Fuck you."
Yeah, it's going to kick your bollocks off.
Oh, it's so hard, but it's good fun. I mean, this is going to sound a bit weird, but I find it easier on expert because it's so fast paced. You're just always moving, whereas on the earlier difficulties, you're a bit slower, so it's a bit more.
Okay, yeah, I understand what you mean.
It's a bit.
Thinking more as opposed to reacting.
Yeah. Whereas this, you're just literally just all over the place.
The thing is,
it's really, really good.
You're saying that it's putting out like hundreds of things towards you. I'm watching like your little ship fire, and it's firing like a row of 8 projectiles, and there's like 6 rows of them at one time.
You give as good as you get. Don't get me wrong.
It's like what the fuck is going on?
You've got the option to do like a full screen spread, basically, where you fire slightly weaker bullets, and you hit everything on the screen. You've got the option to fire straight ahead of you, which is more powerful, but only directed, obviously, in a small area. And then you've got bombs. So if you press B, you've got like 2 seconds where everything around you basically disintegrates. And
nuts.
You collect the blue energy, which then lets you slow down time, which is the main thing, because the reason everything moves so fast is you can slow down time.
Yeah.
And then you can sort of weave in and out a bit more. And doing that is key because then you get the extra points. All the blue energy turns to gold, and that gives you a better score. And then you rack your multiplier up to 8 times, and that's when the points come flowing and you get extra lives and stuff like that. But then to build up your bombs again, you only get 3, and you have to weave in and out the bullets as close as possible so they refill your meter. So it pays to be as close to the bullets as possible without getting hit, while also trying to fight the enemies
so it's like
without killing them.
Like a near miss bonus type idea.
But the problem is if you kill the enemies, their bullets disappear. So you've got to try and weave in and out and then kill the enemies and then do the same over and over again and then build that up, press a B, destroy everyone, slow motion. Yeah, it's really, really good. Really such a lot of fun. And the polar opposite of Lake.
It looks a bit just a little bit more up paced than Lake.
Yeah. Yes. It's Carnage. I think that one's already out. It came out a couple of days ago. But yeah, really, really good. Very much.
Is there any
enjoyable.
difference between the 3 pilots, or it basically it's the same, just a different looking ship?
Well, Daniel, you might be surprised to learn that you need to unlock them other 2 pilots.
So who do you start with? Please tell me.
We start with Luna, which is the one that's got the wide angle shot and all that. And it's very hard. So I haven't unlocked the other 2 pilots yet.
Because Edgar looks like a badass.
Yeah. Judging by the stats on the character select screen, she's like bang in the middle, so her power and speed is sort of 3 out of 5 type thing.
Yeah.
And then one of them's got more power and less speed, and one of them's got more speed and less power.
So there is a bit.
But I haven't unlocked them because it's really hard. I haven't got far enough to do so yet. But yeah, it's a very, very enjoyable. If you like bullet hell shrimps, really, really good.
Love a good shrimp.
Sorry, I had to get that one in. Really good. Very, very much enjoyable. And yeah, as I said, it's already out, so go check it out. Star Hunter DX. Wonderful. I love a bit of bullet hell shooters. Okay. Has anybody else got anything else they would like to discuss this week?
I think that's everything on the games front, at least.
Yes. Okay. So, Ross, have we got our weekly news dump recently?
No, the weekly news dump has taken a bit of a back seat just now while I'm in the process of sort of renovating the man layer and the layout of the room amongst having about 600 projects that I really need to get finished for Dan that he keeps throwing at me. as well as some other things that will become more talked about in a few weeks' time. Big changes afoot. So once that's been able to talk about, you'll understand why there's been a bit of delay in news dumps. But they will be making a return. They will be in a completely different format. It's just trying to get them organised, to get them fixed. But they will be making a return, and they will be bigger, better, and much sexier.
I look forward to you dumping all over us at some point soon.
I was going to say, you're going to do it from your on the bed.
That's the whole point. That's why I wanted to position it, because the position will be sort of not on the chair. It'll be sort of more like. So,
yeah.
If you're only listening on the audio podcast,
you're missing a treat.
Right now.
Yeah.
So there will be a bit of a different format. So yeah, that's nice. In the pipeline, but the more details at a later date.
Looking forward to it. Keep an eye on Xbox Tavern, YouTube, and all that goodness for information. All right, so let's get to Game Pass things. Ross, have we got anything new to Game Pass?
Not so much just now. Obviously, tail end.
What are you doing?
Not so much tail end of the month. We had a couple last week. We had Myst and Psychonauts 2. So they were just that week there, 25th and 26th, I want to say. So nothing for sort of where we are just now, 29th to whenever we're on next week. There's nothing been announced yet. But Psychonauts 2 and Myst, and I think Jay and Gray, you've spoken about Myst before, and it was an old game that's been revamped, apparently very, very slow paced, am I right in saying?
Yeah, it's a really, really, really hard puzzler with no hand holding.
Yeah, so not maybe everybody's cup of tea, but from what I've read so far, Psychonauts 2 seems to be getting a very positive feedback.
Seems to be approaching a lot of people games of the year.
Yeah, so if people haven't picked that up, I mean, like I say, it's maybe not my type of game, but based on the feedback and the fact that it's in Game Pass, I think it's one that I'll probably download and at least give a chance to play.
Did you say you tried it, Daniel?
I played it this morning, so I've been going through. I've played about an hour or so of it. It is weird as hell. It is definitely something that was buried deep inside Mr. Schaefer's head. Proper weird. It's worth a play, I think.
I'd like to give it a go. Our review went up yesterday, I think, from Carlos, and he was quite high on it. And it seems like everybody else's review has been pretty high on it as well so far. So, yeah, go and check them out, especially the Xbox Tavern review. That's a good idea.
Exactly.
Why wouldn't you do that? Anything else, Ross? It was about it for Game Pass.
That was it for last week. Games coming up, nothing being announced yet. September's obviously, I think, going to be a bit a quieter month because you've got your big releases tail end of the year. We obviously like your Call of Duty, Battlefield, Halo, things like that coming a couple of months' time. So probably going to, I'd imagine that there's going to be a bit of a quiet month for September. There is a couple of titles being announced, but they're not coming for at least another week until they're dropping. So get them in next week's show.
Indeed. Thank you very much. And what about Games with Gold?
Yep. So we have Darksiders 3 from August the 1st to the 31st. Ukulele from August 16th to September 15th. Garou Mark of the Wolves from August the 16th to the 31st. And then we've got the new ones coming in September, which will be Warhammer Chaos Bane from September the 1st to the 30th, Molaka from September the 16th to October the 15th, and Zone of the Enders HD Collection from September the 1st to the 15th, and lastly Samurai Showdown from September the 16th to the 30th. So that's what's coming up.
Lovely. Some passable games, I think, there. Nothing too exciting, nothing too...
It's like you've said the last couple of weeks, it's probably the weakest of the Darksiders games, but Darksiders games are still pretty good, so definitely pick that one up at least.
Yeah, and well, pick them all up because you haven't got to pay for them and you haven't got to pay them.
I just rely on Dan to do that. Dan picks them up and fills up our saved games, so I'm cool with that.
Oh. I've got loads of them.
And Daniel, is there anything leaving Game Pass anytime soon?
Yeah, we've got The Leaving, Blair Witch. There is Double Kick Heroes, Stranger Things 3, the game, and NBA 2K21. So
Wonderful.
they're all out of here.
Wonderful. Yeah, okay. Well, that's about it for this week, I think. Anything anybody wants to talk about, or should we wrap up since we've hit almost the 2-hour mark? And Daniel is most happy about that.
Okay,
I'm
Dan's about to be sitting in a corner, sort of rocking backwards and forwards.
sure.
I just want to shout out the weekly deals that goes up every Tuesday.
Yes.
So I troll through all the. Oh my god, I can't believe they're making that bigger. I go through all the games that are on the deals with a little help from Jake, and then there's a video. So I'll give you my top tips of what you should pick up during the deal section.
Yes,
So check it out every
worth checking out.
Tuesday.
Plenty of games on there. On a good sale, and let our man Daniel tell you what you should be checking out.
Definitely.
Right. We got some various reviews and bits and pieces going up over the week. We've had plenty go up this week. We've got plenty more going up next week, and there'll be various YouTube videos and stuff, I imagine, going up at some point soon.
Yes.
And yes, so that has been a podcast. Somehow, some way, we've managed once again. Thank you very much for listening. If you made it this far, you are, as we say, a fucking hero. Thank you very much.
Fucking leg end is what we refer to you as.
You can follow us at Xbox Tavern on Twitter. You can go to xboxtavern.com for all of our written stuff, and you can go to youtube.com/Xbox Tavern Official to watch this every Sunday night, 8 p.m, or indeed catch up on any of the videos that we put up throughout the week, each and every week and day and hour and second. I have been Jamie, aka at Inexan, and I've been joined by Ross.
And I've changed the Twitter handle just a little bit because I realised that my Twitter handle was different from my gamer tag, so I'm now chaotic8389.
Oh, we don't do change.
Oh, we change.
Oh,
we shake
hang
this bad boy up.
I'm not ready for this. Oh, Daniel, save us. What's your Twitter gamer tag, whatever it is?
So Chocolate Bear 80, and that's everything. Anywhere, search me up.
And I've been joined by Graham.
Graham Reaper.
At Graham Reaper everywhere, and indeed. Wonderful. Thank you very much for listening. We love you, and have a wonderful week. And we will speak to you next week.
See you, folks.
See you later, peoples.